Coming up on the bench, Syracuse football is safety in O. The Cuse were in the Dome looking to go field goal in O against the high-flying Purdue Boilermakers. This one was a heavyweight fight, but could the Orange deliver the final blow?
Plus, Ian McIntyre's crew were also yet to lose a game through 6 tries. The Orange took that unbeaten record on the road to #1 Clemson. We'll let you know what happened in SU's battle with the top team in the land.
And SU field hockey opened its ACC slate Friday against Duke, but it was Saturday's bout with Hofstra that provided the bigger challenge. Could the Orange sweep the weekend at Coin? Find out and have some fun along the way. This is On the Bench, and you know when it starts. Right now. What's going on, everybody? We are in chairs, but we're on the bench here on the CitrusTV studios with John Dales. I'm Calvin Christoforo. John, you ever been a seesaw guy?
I call it a teeter-totter, but yeah.
You're a teeter-totter? Well, yeah. I wasn't really a huge fan of teeter-totters because I was using the heavy one and I sank for the bottom, but that's neither here nor there because there was no difference in weights when it came to the battle in the Dome on Saturday. A couple of heavyweight fighters going at it. Syracuse, Purdue, the Cuse trying to excuse its demons against teams in the Big Ten. This game was a lot of fun. The Orange don't have a win against a Big Ten opponent since 2009, including last year's 17-7 loss to Rutgers. But SU up 3-0 early. Purdue, though, gets in the end zone first. Rushing touchdown by Devin McAvee. 6-3, the Boilermakers take the lead late in the first quarter. Ensuing PAT, though, it's blocked, so the score remains 6-3. Syracuse down by a field goal. Now they're down by 2 field goals. Andre Schmidt's trying to get the Orange to momentum, go to the halftime locker room. Missed it wide right, 9-3, your halftime score. Second half, though, is where the points are scored. Garrett Schrader out to Isaiah Jones, the 3-yard touchdown pass.
That looks good. Hey, I mean, they call him Andre Schmidt. Maybe start calling him Andre Miss because they got to make up for him on offense.
Well, the Orange now up 1. This is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the country. Aiden O'Connell, a dime to Payne Durham.
I think we'll hear from him later before the game's over.
Well, Garrett Schrader, you're going to hear from him right now. 4th and 1, finds a Rondé Gatson. Look at this James Harden hesitation dribble. What? Where are you going? Into the end zone, Le'Veon Bell style. Syracuse regains the lead 18-15. That's your score. O'Connell just trying to do way too much here. Looking downfield, no one's there. He flips it to who? Caleb Okechukwu. The pick 6, the first SU pick 6 since 2020. That was Garrett Williams off Trevor Lawrence.
In Death Valley.
Purdue, though, putting that right behind him. O'Connell a dime to this guy. Charlie Jones, an absolute menace. 11 catches, 188 yards in that touchdown. The Boilers feeling it. They're now down 3, and now they take the lead. You remember that Payne Durham guy?
I do.
Really big play. Purdue with 55 seconds to go, up by 4. Syracuse needs a miracle, and Purdue helps him out. Garrett Schrader leading the troops down the field. Long pass down the sidelines. Isaiah Jones can't get it, but wait. There's the yellow thing. There it is on the field. A big pass interference penalty, but 11 seconds to go. Syracuse in the 25-yard line. Garrett Schrader takes one in the teeth, but a dime to a Rondé Gatson. How about the game for the Syracuse tight end?
He was unbelievable. Only 8 catches in his career coming into this one. He had 6.
The Orange get the win by 3, and our Cameron Ezaire was in the Dome to break down the SU win.
It was right here at the Purdue 25-yard line where Syracuse trailed 29-25 with just 12 seconds remaining. And that's when a deficit turned to a lead, thanks to the heroics of quarterback Garrett Schrader throwing a dart to a Rondé Gatson II in the corner of the end zone. Right here to give Syracuse a 32-29 win over Purdue, their first win over the Boilermakers in program history. And that achievement can be credited to the 2 names I just mentioned, Garrett Schrader and Rondé Gatson II.
Rondé has always had the ability to catch the ball. If you're breaking him down and you say he cannot catch the ball, you're Stevie Wonder. There's something wrong with you. The guy can catch the ball. If he gets close to his hands, he's going to catch it. The thing that excites me about Rondé is how he was able to get his feet down in so many of those catches. And if you watch, even from the first game, he's close to the sideline. He finds a way to get his feet in. I thought Schrader, that's what guys do. That's what leaders do. They battle.
I don't think I could have played a worse first half. Just for the second half, it's just making routine plays that we're used to making. And, I got out of my own head. And, awesome team win.
With the win, Syracuse improves to 3-0 for the first time since 2018. And get this, for the third time in the last 3 decades, and they'll look to make it 4-0 in Game 2 of the 4-game homestand on Friday as the Cuse welcome the Virginia Cavaliers at 7:30. Reporting inside the JMA Wireless Dome, I'm Cameron Ezair, Citrus TV.
Thanks so much, Cam. Syracuse football 3-0 for the first time since 2018, and there is some newfound life in Garrett Schrader and the fans inside the JMA Wireless Dome.
You're 100% right. I think that new life came at halftime. Maybe Garrett Schrader got some of Michael Jordan's secret stuff from Space Jam. You heard of that before?
I have. I hope he has some left over for me.
He had about -3 passing yards at halftime.
-3.
That's how I measured it, -3.
You
And then
had
you come
more
into
than him at the half?
I certainly did. You come into the second half, 3 touchdowns and the game winner.
Impressive by you, but Schrader really turned it around in that second half, which was a doozy. You see the numbers up on your screen. How about a fourth quarter that was wild? Just to show you how bonkers this game was, last year's contest against Virginia Tech stacks up to this one, and actually the Purdue game takes the cake. A combined 73 points between those two fourth quarters, 42 on Saturday. But the constant, both times Garrett Schrader led last-second drives to win it for the Cuse. But hey, we're still in Central New York, which means it's always basketball season. And even though the football team's off to a red-hot start, men's hoop schedule has come out. Here to break it down is Cuse Countdown analyst Zach Letson, who's at the wall with John.
Calvin, thank you so much. We are joined by Zach Letson, Cuse Countdown analyst. Now, Zach, you hear talking about Syracuse basketball. It's still September, but we just got this complete 2022-23 schedule. It's right behind us here. A lot of games on it. What sticks out?
Well, what'll stick out to people is Duke, Carolina. Both of those are at home for Syracuse. No traveling down to Tobacco Road. Those are the 2 games on the schedule that you'll see that'll point out to you. But when I'm looking at 4-game slate in the middle of January, it'll make or break Syracuse's season. Virginia Tech, Notre Dame, Miami. The last 3 of those teams all made the tournament. The one behind them, Virginia, I think they're due for a bounce back year.
Well, we know who Syracuse is going to be playing against. As for who's going to be playing for Syracuse, CBS Sports' John Rothstein just tweeted out he's got a source inside the SU basketball program tells him Joe Girard is moving to the 2. Freshman Judah Mintz is moving to point guard. First of all, Zach, do you have a source that proves Rothstein wrong? And second of all, what do you think about that?
Well, I got no source to prove Rothstein wrong. Seems like he gets all the scoops around college football, but Judah Mintz, surefire starting point guard for the Syracuse team. Look, this is a team that is quite thin at the guard position. Judah Mintz comes in, combo guard, top 50 guy in the country. Hey, he played at Oak Hill. Anyone know a Syracuse player that might have played there? This is a bona fide star. And hey, on the topic of Joe Girard, he's a shoot-first guy. This is a guy that is a star from beyond the arc, as you see on your screen. Why not move him to the 2?
Things are going to be looking a little bit different this year for SU men's hoops. We thank Zach for joining us. Jim Boeheim, about to start year number 47 atop the SU men's basketball program. Felicia Leggett-Jack just about to start year 1 in charge of the SU women's team. To hear more about them, we go back to Calvin, who's joined by Nick Luttrell.
Hey, thanks so much, John. I am joined with Nick Luttrell, our Citrus TV Women's Hoops Beat reporter. Nick, thanks for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
So the Syracuse women's basketball schedule came out. No surprises, a loaded ACC slate. But what are your first impressions about the schedule as a whole?
Well, looking at the non-conference schedule, first off, it's relatively easy compared to past years. When you look at this, the teams that SU plays, 9 of the 11 of their opponents were ranked lower than SU last season in the net rankings. But we got to go to conference, and that's really where it gets tough for the Syracuse women's basketball team. They play back-to-back games against Louisville and NC State. Both teams finished top 5 in the nation last season, so that ACC slate will be tough for the Orange.
And when they do hit the court, they'll be doing so with a new head coach. Vaughn Reed out, Felicia Leggett-Jack in. Her number is in the rafters at the JMA Wireless Dome. What should fans expect to see from the new bench boss in year 1?
Calvin, I'm going to give you one word: intensity.
Okay, I like it.
That's what she brings. That's what she brought at Buffalo for 9 seasons. Before that, as a Syracuse assistant. Even before that, playing in the 80s for the Orange. She brings intensity and passion on her Twitter handle, on the court, and just outside of that. Calvin, I think she's going to bring intensity to the Syracuse women's basketball team. And I think the fans are going to show up and watch this women's basketball team play this season.
You think if I learned how to bring intensity to my Twitter, I would have as many followers as Felicia?
You could possibly.
All right,
maybe.
we'll see how that plays out.
There.
Hey, have you ever been to car wash? Neutral, like Luttrell. Nick Luttrell, thanks so much for taking the time. We're up against our first break here and on the bench. And when we come back, there's a team on campus turning a ton of heads. And no, it's not the 3-0 football team. We'll look at SU Soccer's latest upset victim when we return.
bedroom. Come on, come
awesome.
on.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
We're back, and we remain to not be on a bench. Maybe we'll look into getting the show name changed during the next break.
We're
But
on the
John
wall.
Dales, alongside Calvin Christoforo, we are on the wall. Let's talk a little bit of football. We talked about it right before the break because Coach Mac's squad is off to an historic start in 2022. Entering Friday night, Syracuse men's soccer was ranked 5-0-1, ranked number 16 in the country, and its opponent Clemson a clean 5-0, number 1 in the nation. The last time SU beat number 1 was against Wake Forest in 2018. Would we see history repeat itself?
I remember that game.
Well, we already got history in the name. Down at historic Riggs Field in South Carolina, Ian McIntyre said earlier in the week he doesn't care too much about rankings, but early on the Tigers said, hey, maybe you should. 8 minutes in, Isaiah Reed chips one in. Top-ranked Tigers lead 1-0, but the Orange didn't come to Clemson to roll over and give up. Tiger goaltender Trevor Mannion caught in no Mannion's land down there. Giorgio Kuchevsky takes advantage. We're tied up, 1 apiece, 17 minutes in. Now at this point, the Orange actually added the player to their roster. First name goal, last name post. First off the corner kick, keeps the Tigers out. Then less than 2 minutes later, another opportunity. Mohamed Sayah inches away from a goal not to be. Now, SU did have a chance as well. 28th minute, low cross out in front and just chipped over the top. Nice play defensively. We stay tied at 1. 3 minutes into the second half, here's your highlight of the game. Levante Johnson, who had the assist earlier, takes it himself all the way, upper right 90, the Orange lead at historic Riggs. Now, this one was physical all the way through. Take a look at those fouls on your screen from both sides. SU's Booster Schoberg gets a yellow card for that slide tackle. Then Christian Curdy, lucky to not get one here in the same minute. So we're going to skip ahead 30 minutes though. Still the same score, 2-1, and Kurt Kaloff nearly makes it 3-1. Incredible save by Trevor Mannion. Last chance now, 85th minute. The cross to Isaiah Reed. Does he have another one in him? No. Saved and a nice stop by Russell Shealy. Cuse wins to Thrones number 1, 2-1, the final. What a win for the Orange. But Calvin, success against the Tigers isn't anything new for the Cuse, and success against top teams also isn't anything new.
Yeah, beat Clemson last year, and that forced them to have to not fill in the paint in the center circle of the Clemson logo. They're going to have to keep that unpainted. Syracuse continues to have Clemson's number, and now you look at it, the sky is the limit for Ian McIntyre's bunch.
Especially when you got guys named Levante Johnson and Russell Shealy on your team, each of them taking home ACC Player of the Week honors for their respective side. Calvin, Shealy was a brick wall in net, and Levante Johnson just couldn't be stopped. He was all over the field.
And who would have thought this was going to be the season for the SU men's soccer team after DeAndre Kerr left? Ian McIntyre restocked, and the Mac is back. The Cuse running. It's probably going to be a contender in the ACC championships. Might even be a contender to win the whole thing.
Could be, but certainly as you look at that schedule coming up, bottom of your screen, still have to play the number 1 team in the nation. Demon Deacons are good this year. That coming on Friday the 7th, coming up to Syracuse, and then a week later you travel to play another top 25 team against Louisville on Friday the 14th.
It's going to be a tough slate, but hey, the men's soccer team isn't the only team on campus kicking it early in the season. SU women's soccer is off to a red-hot start. After just a 4-win season last year, Nikki Adams and company are 7-1 to start the season, but they faced their biggest test yet when number 3 Duke came to the stadium on Saturday night. This game was tight when they played last year in Durham, a 2-0 Duke win, and Syracuse try to make sure they get on the board in this game. Chelsea Dumont, really good opportunity, just whistles it hot.
You know, you get chances like that, you got to bury them.
And they had a lot of chances in the first half, Syracuse did, but Ruthie Jones, just a brick wall in net for the Devils. She brought her game up north.
Must have been taking notes from Russell Shealy.
So Syracuse had their opportunities. Duke has one here, but stolen away by Vanderbosch in net. This game goes to a standstill, 0-0 at the halftime break. In the second half, all Duke on the opportunities, but they are unable, just like Syracuse was, to get one past the SU backline.
Nothing better than a 0-0 scoreline, Calvin. Nothing better for soccer purists like us.
A defensive battle, but you look at Duke's chances, 11 in the second half. They weren't able to put one on net, though, until the 58th minute. We bring you right there. The header, the dagger, it's over. A dime. Maggie Graham heads it in from Sophie Jones, and the Blue Devils escape a true road test at SU Soccer Stadium. To break down the Duke win, we send it to our very own Colin Davies.
Lights here in Syracuse, but not the one you're thinking of. As Syracuse women's soccer fell to number 3 Duke 1-0 in the 89th minute. But despite the loss, Coach Nikki Adams says this is a huge moment for this young program going forward.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we're always going to be able to look back on this moment and say, this is where we were, and now look at where we are now, you know? I mean, this is just a great example. These kids are feeling it now, right? They know what it takes to play at the top of their games, leave it all out there. And we're going to do it again.
And one of those young standouts, freshman Grace Gillard, spoke about the mindset required to battle against a top 5 team in the country.
I'd say as a team we were still gritty, there was still determination, and we still wanted to fight and show what we could bring. Obviously it's a bit gutting towards the end, conceding that goal, but I think we still kept fighting until the end, and we showed what we can do this season.
And that same mindset is going to be needed as they'll host the number 2 team in the country, North Carolina, on Thursday night. Reporting from SU Soccer Stadium for CitrusTV Sports, I'm Colin Davies.
As always, Colin, well, we're up against a break. Stick with us, though. On the other side, I guess we can keep our soccer cleats on. We're going to grab some field hockey sticks as well. OTB will be back in 90 seconds.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average 4-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, welcome back in the chairs with John Dales. I'm Calvin Christoforo. John, besides me, what do you define the fastest show on turf?
SU Ultimate Doom. You ever seen them play?
Zach Kaplan is quite the performer out in the field. But for me, it's the Syracuse field hockey team. You know why?
Why? You
know they water the turf at JS Coyne Stadium to make them go faster?
How else are you going to get the turf to grow?
That's true. That's a fact. It's tough to get the turf to grow, though, under the fast cleats of the SU field hockey team. The Orange are the number 10 team in the land, but their non-conference slate is one thing. ACC play, another. All 7 teams in the conference are ranked in the top 25, including number 18 Duke, who was the first to come to Coyne on Friday. The Orange and Blue Devils meeting for the time after Syracuse ended the Blue Devils season in the ACC tournament, a 5-1 drubbing last season, and the Cuse gets on the board for Charlotte DeVries, a backhanded laser beam. She has been on some sort of rhythm after her hat trick against Monmouth, but the Cuse not done. That was a rip by Joy Harmon, 2-0, and you remember Charlotte DeVries, John?
I do.
She does it again. Watch this heat-seeking missile in the back of the net. DeVries, 5 goals over her past 2 contests. Syracuse up by 3 at the break. Second half, more of the same. Corinne Comans, who now has a tie for the team lead with DeVries, with 8 makes it 4-0. And Eefke van den Nieuwenhof back in the lineup. The back-to-back first-team All-ACC selection missed the first couple of games with injury. She is back in the lineup. Syracuse loves to have her. Duke gets on the board, but it's not enough. Syracuse takes it 5-1.
Well, fresh off that big win over a top 20 team, SU field hockey actually entered a little bit of a trap game 2 days later against Hofstra. Now, you can't forget this. They play with pride out there in Hempstead. You see what I did there, Cal?
I do see what you did there. That was good.
Well, Merline Vandervet turned away 7 of the 8 shots on goal from the Cuse, but ultimately it wasn't enough. Laura Graziosi gets the game winner with just 2 minutes left. How about that Cuse defense, keeping Hofstra without a shot on goal? Now, there is another hockey team on campus that likes to keep opponents from scoring goals. That would be the Syracuse Ice Hockey Squad. Let's hear about them from new Weiss Mafia initiate Ryan Nelson, who is alongside Calvin.
Hey, thanks, John. Do you feel that? I think there's a little bit of a chill in the air. It might be the air conditioning, or it might be time to talk about some ice hockey. For that, we bring in CitrusTV ice hockey beat reporter Ryan Nelson. Hey, thanks for taking the time.
Hey, thanks for having me, Calvin. It's great talking to you.
And thanks for copying my outfit. You see it at home, blue shirt, green tie. We'll move past that, though. I'll give you a one-time pass for this because you're so generous with your time. Let's talk about the team on the ice, but let's start with the head coach, Paul Flanagan, who is behind the Syracuse bench for the entirety of this program out this offseason. In steps Brittany Smith. What can we expect from Brittany Smith in year 1?
For Brittany Smith, you can expect 3 words: effort, commitment, and attitude. Those are the 3 things she drills into her team. She was a fantastic recruiter at Clarkson and winning 2 national championships there too. It was awesome to see her team in action in the exhibition game earlier this season. 3-1 win there, and that's going to be a theme going forward. Defense first for this Brittany Smith squad.
So she's a really good recruiter, but who is left? Who stays from last year's team that will make a big impact?
The biggest impact will be from the returning coach. Goalie coach Mike Murphy's coming back. He worked with Ariel DeSmet all of last season, and he's the reason that she was such a fantastic netminder in the CHA. And don't forget the people in front of her as well. All CHA defenders, Lauren Belafontaine and Mae Matheson, going to make a huge impact in front of DeSmet and net. It's going to be great.
All right, I'm looking forward to another historic season in the Tennessee Ice Pavilion. Ryan, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me, Calvin.
When we come back, we'll finish up the show with our top performers and our top plays. Stay with us.
OTN is on all your favorite apps: Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Search Orange Television Network or OTN. OTN has its best shows, short films, and CitrusTV on demand. Family and friends can watch OTN too. Watch the live stream of OTN to catch live CitrusTV news, live from Studio B, and Mornings on the Hill. On or off campus, watch OTN anywhere.
Leaving hot coals improperly extinguished can cause a wildfire.
Hey guys, it's Smokey!
It looks as if Smokey is going to use the drown, stir, drown and feel technique. After the first drown, a good start. Next, another drink. And finally, a close feel.
Is it cool? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Smokey, catch! Oh, my bad, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Wrapping things up here on the bench with Jay Dales. I'm Steve Christo. John, how many singular plays do you think there were on the Hill this week?
At least 3.
Well, I think there's a little bit more than that, which makes it all the more impressive that we scoured every single one of them and came up with our top 3. of the week. We'll start on the gridiron, and this is something you do not see every day. A big man making a big-time play. Aiden O'Connell in all sorts of danger. Caleb Okechukwu, where'd you come from? To the crib. The big man to the house. That was a big-time pick six to give Syracuse a 10-point lead.
It certainly was. We're going to go to somebody who maybe's got a little bit less meat on their bone.
Hey,
we heard about him earlier. Levante Johnson with the game winner in the 48th minute, tied 1-1 on the road against the #1 team in the nation. He says, I'll take that assist that I had earlier. I'm also going to take the game winner. 3 points for him. The Cuse win 2-1.
There's nothing wrong with having a six-pack tucked away in the fridge. I think I got one of those myself. We go back to the football field for our top play of the week. It has to be Oronde Gadsden, the game winner. How about the throw, though, by Garrett Schrader? Getting drilled on the money. Gadsden, the pretty toe tap in the corner of the end zone. Syracuse with the win over Purdue.
Well, those are our top plays of the week. Now, how about the top performers of the week? A little bit of a different question, but Calvin, I got a feeling we're going to see some of the names we just talked about.
Well, you would hope. Big-time players make big-time plays in big-time games.
Well, we begin with Levante Johnson. We just heard about him. He's a big-time player, making big-time plays in big-time games. He had that assist earlier on to Kaczewski, like I just mentioned. He said, that's not enough. He's got 3 goals and 3 assists on the season. We talked about it earlier in the show. No DeAndre Kerr, no problem for SU so far in 2022, thanks in a large part to Levante Johnson.
Our second top performer is Laura Graziosi, and you mentioned a big-time game-winning goal against Hofstra, but her weekend started against Duke. She made 2 defensive saves, something you never see in field hockey. That means the ball got behind netminder Brooke Brovnowski in net, and she was there to stop it from going in the back of the cage. One of the most consistent players on this Syracuse field hockey club all year long, which is why the Orange grabbed a 2-0 perfect weekend. 2 wins, no losses. Graziosi, her defensive effort leading to her offensive effort, a big reason why.
You got Graziosi on your squad, you can win against basically any team that you throw against them. How about our #1 performer of the week we had on the road? And we already talked about it a couple of times. Oronde Gadsden, just unbelievable what he did against Purdue over the weekend. He came in with 8 catches on his entire career. He had 6 catches and 2 touchdowns in that game. We're going to show you that catch right there. Calvin, I did some research. If you go onto YouTube and you search Oronde Gadsden catch, a catch by his dad in the 2000 divisional round playoff game comes up. I'm saying that YouTube search results need to start changing. Oronde Gadsden's catch against Purdue, that's got to be the #1 search result going forward. He certainly did a good job arguing for that with his performance.
I don't know, a catch in the divisional round? Syracuse already played Jim Mora, the younger one, this week, but playoffs? I think a big catch in the playoffs deserves some recognition.
Well, whatever it takes, Oronde Gadsden, our #1 performer of the week, who knows what his career is going to become. Who knows if he wins the highest distinction in college football later this year. He won the highest distinction in CitrusTV this evening because he takes home our OTB #1 performer of the week.
Well, he's already halfway there. Look, you talk about guys like Ernie Davis, Jim Brown,
Oronde is in there now.
Gadsden now in that conversation. They call him a football player, plays wide receiver, tight end. They just call you handsome.
I appreciate that. I really do. Look, we put it all on display here. I hope that when they go anchors of the week later in the week, we may see our name on there.
What show do you think that'll be on?
That's a good question. That is a good question.
We'll have to reach out to No Pulp because they can add just a little bit of pulp. But hey, that's all the time we have here on The Bench. For John Dales, I'm Calvin Christoforo. We leave you with our images of the week.